Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Maudlin. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I am old. That's what my grandkids tell me all the time. But to make a long story short, and it's a long story, a friend of mine, Ken and Janelle, Ken came over to the house one night. I didn't even know he was there. I had crawled my poor, tired body in the bed. And when I go to bed, I tell everybody, leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. So my husband comes walking in there and he goes, Cheryl, I need you to do something. And I'm like, what? He said, put this on. I looked at it. It was this little round thing. And I said, why? He goes, just put it on. Okay, I put it on. So he said, Ken told me this is how this works. And he explained it to me. Well, I had friends that spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on injecting other people's stem cells into their body, and they were shocked when it didn't work. So I'm like, yeah, I've heard about this. Okay, I'll do it. Well, I had been praying and praying and praying. Oh, God, I can't go blind because I had macular degeneration. And it got to the point where I could not see. I would have to look at things like this because I could not see straight ahead. And I was starting to get scared, could drive at night. If the sun was too bright on the way to work, I had to pull over because I could not see the curb, the street, anything. So a girlfriend of mine calls me up one day and she goes, Cheryl, can you go with me to my daughter's house? We're going to unpack her. We're going to wash all her dishes. We're going to put everything away because she had just moved into this gorgeous home. And it was down San Jose. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, street lights exist, but they don't do any good. I mean, they're so dim. So I said, well, Michelle, here's the deal. I can get myself there, but you're going to have to get me home because I won't be able to see to drive home. And she's like, well, maybe I should come get you. Well, I was coming from Ponte Vedra. And she said, okay, that's not going to work. I said, just get me home. We'll be fine. So I get there. We get all the work done. We're so excited. You know, the unveiling of the daughter coming home and everything's done for her. We are so excited. I said, I've got to go home because I'm really starting to get tired. So she gets in a car and she has a white Mercedes. And I could see the white, but that's all I could see. And when the lights came on, I said, don't keep your brake lights on because it'll blind me. So we're going down the road, down San Jose, and I'm scared to death. I'm shaking like a leaf, so afraid I'm going to have an accident. And I look over now. I started the patch in October. And Ken said, well, and I'm 70. I got 7 months before I see any results. And I'm like, ah. So I'm driving down the road and I look over and there's a display for Christmas. There's this display in the front yard and it's a Santa and it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and I can see the outline of I could see everything perfectly clear. I looked up, I could read the street sign. And it's dark. And there's light, and it normally blinds me. I was so excited. I picked up the phone, and I called Michelle, and I said, you don't have to get me home. I can see. And she was like floored because she knew that I was going blind. And I called my husband. I said, you're not going to believe this, right? I can see. So that's just one thing. So then I said, okay, don't say a word to anybody. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get this. I want to get her to tell me, that this is definitely a thing. So I go to see my doctor, and she gives me an exam, and she goes, Cheryl, something's wrong with the machinery. We got to go back in there and take this test again. She goes, I'm so sorry. I know you're in a hurry, but we got to do it again. We go back in. She stands there and watches the girl give me the test. We go back in. She looks at both tests, and my initial test, she goes, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. She goes, you are so improved. She looked at me and she goes, what have you been doing? I said, well, the only thing I can tell you is this patch. That's all I've done. Because there's no cure. Everything I watched was so depressing, and she told me that the last person she had walk in her office, 30 years old, had macular degeneration because kids are getting this. So just because the person's not elderly, and just because, you know, you can't assume they don't need a patch, right? You can't. So that's my story. It's exciting.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Okay, I want you to tell your kid that you're an old hot grandma. You're hot. Come on, that's good. That's good. Wow, that's incredible. So again, the patch doesn't treat, cure, heal, or diagnose, but you put the patch on and your